Okay, so I want to do this final video to wrap up kind of my sharing of some of my personal stories in the evolution of how I've gotten from being lonely, devastated, frustrated, questioning what am I doing wrong in relationships, never being able to connect to guys for more than a few months, to now being where I am on the other side, being a love and relationship coach, with the love of my life, just absolutely, really, truly feeling that depths of love and support from a partner that I just cherish and who cherishes me. And so I want to dedicate this video to talking about what happens when you have to say no and standing in your worth, even when it breaks your heart to do so. So I mentioned, if you haven't seen the other two videos, I highly recommend you go watch those two first, because this is kind of the third part of the series. But as I mentioned in the last two videos, I had a lot of pain in my past around relationships. And then I met a witch who really kind of sparked a catalyst of clearing of blocks for me and really stepping into my power as a woman in relationships. And that attracted a man that had been putting me in the friend zone to start asking me out and want to start dating me. And this part of the story talks about the first few years, actually it was really just about a year, that first year of dating. Because I know many of you, maybe you are past the initial dating phase, maybe you're with a guy for a little while, but he's still in and out. He's still hot and cold. He still hasn't 100% decided that you are the one yet, and really kind of jumped ship and committed his heart to you for life. And so if you're in that phase, this is going to be an especially important video for you. And I want you to know that just as, like I said in the earlier videos, even in this phase, it was challenging. It really was a struggle for me because I had found someone really incredible. Ever since the first man that I was with, no one compared. I didn't think I'd meet another man like that, and here this beautiful man came along. And he came along because I had done the work on myself. I had invested in myself. I had hired a coach to help me through my blocks, and I was really ready to receive love and give love from that place of openness. But even in that moment when he started dating me, he was still on his own journey, and he was still trying to figure out, I don't know, is this right? Is this what I want? And he was still on his path of figuring out who he was becoming. And so there was a while where we were dating, but it was very hot and cold. And it was very we would have amazing dates and hang out on the weekends, and then we would go a week without talking. Literally cold turkey, no texts, no calls, no acknowledging anything. And what was worse is that we worked together. And so we would see each other every day, but it was like we didn't exist. It was like I didn't exist, at least. I would look at him, I'd smile at him, I'd, be like, yeah, that last weekend was so much fun. And he would pretend like I didn't exist. And that was really, really hard, to be feeling such strong feelings for someone and more than half of the week, feeling like you didn't exist in his eyes. And I recognized that this is not how it's supposed to go. I need someone that wants to be with me, that wants to really give to me and commit to me and love me, and not just be, this kind of second-hand thought at the end or on the weekends when it was convenient for him. But at that time, I wasn't strong enough. I didn't feel strong enough in who I was, or confident enough in knowing that I was going to meet plenty of men that were high quality. All I thought was, I see this guy. I haven't seen a guy like this come into my life since the very beginning. I don't want to lose him. I'm going to hold on and do whatever I can to not lose him. And so what ended up happening was that I put on this kind of exterior of I'm okay, everything's fine, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to give to me is cool, I don't need much, I'm not needy, I'm not high maintenance. But that really didn't help anything. All it did was enable him to continue his actions, which were to be very hot and cold, in and out, convenient for him. So it really, really took a toll on me, because I'd be home on a Wednesday night, wanting to hang out, wanting to at least just hear how his day was, but feeling so afraid to reach out and text him because I didn't want to come off as needing too much or seeming high maintenance. It was a really big internal battle that I struggled with for a long time. And I tried to share with him a few times, what it was that I was needing. I painted a vision of, the man that I wanted to be with, and that I wanted a life companion, and I wanted someone to, be interested in my life consistently, not just here and there. And he had told me, I can't give that to you right now. That's not who I am right now. And I respect him for saying that and being truthful and honest. But at the same time, we were on very different pages. And so even though there was a really deep connection, we were on different pages, and there was nothing that I could do to shift that. And there was nothing that I could make him do to shift that. And I knew that it wasn't my job to change him or fix him, that wasn't going to work. So it really only left me with one option. And that one option was to let him go. And gosh, girls, if I had thought that I had gone through pain before that, this was the deepest pain that I have ever felt. In the same breath, I called him up one day, and in the same breath, I said for the first time in my entire life, I love you. And in that same breath, I said, and I have to break up with you. Because I knew that my self-worth and my needs had to come first and were more important than trying to acquiesce and fit into the mold of his life and what he needed and wanted. And it devastated me, and it devastated him, because neither of us wanted to let go and stop what we had, but I knew it just didn't feel right. And there was a time where I really just had to completely cut him out of my life, even though we continued to work together, which made it even worse. I saw him every day, but this time we really did treat each other like we didn't exist, because we just couldn't. We couldn't acknowledge being around each other and in each other's presence as friends like we'd been. And there were days when I was laying in bed crying too, feeling like I had had a death, feeling like I had lost one of my best friends. But even still, I knew in my heart that I deserved what I wanted out of a relationship. And if this man in front of me, even though it felt so important, it felt so right, if he wasn't able to give that to me and he was saying that to me, I was the fool to hold on and hope for something else, or hope for him to change. And I had to let go. And it was in that letting go that was the strongest moment I've ever felt in my entire life, because I knew that I was standing up for myself. And you know what his response was? He was so impressed, and he really admired me for it. And he said, I really respect you for this, and this is really hard, but I get it, and I don't want to hold you back. And men get it. They know that the worst thing that men want to feel is inadequate. And if we are saying we need this and that and we want this and that, and they know deep within themselves that they're not there yet, then the worst thing that they feel then is that they can't provide and they can't give us what we need and what we want. And so it makes them feel inadequate. And so actually by staying in a relationship like that, you are just causing them to feel pain and to start to feel resentment toward you for keeping them in that place. So the best thing you can do is actually to let go, even if it's hard, even if it's feeling like you're losing your best friend. And in my case, miraculously, 2 months later of no talking, no texting, no nothing, and seeing each other when we had to at work, he came back to me and he said that he was ready. And he said he was ready to commit his life to me, and that he loved me, and that he wanted to be with me for the rest of his life. And from that moment, it has been absolute a dream, a true dream. But it took me standing in my power and really owning what I needed and what I was worth for that to be able to show up in my life. And I knew that if it wasn't him, it was going to be somebody else. It was going to be somebody else, because I was operating at an entirely new vibration and a new level that wasn't there before. because I finally realized what it was that I really needed and what I was not going to put up with. And I really encourage you, love, that if this has been an experience that you're going through or that you feel is something that you may need to go through, do it. And don't look back and don't question it. Trust your gut, trust your instinct, and stand in that worth. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it alone, I'm here and I can coach you through it. But I promise you that regardless of what happens, it's going to be good for you. Either that man is going to come back and realize, oh crap, I just almost lost the best person in my life, or somebody else is going to come in and fill that space with 10 times more love and affection and commitment than the last man was ever able to give you. And you let him go with ease and with peace and with love and compassion. So that's what I want to end with today, and that's just a little bit more highlights of my journey on this incredible, incredible experience of life that we all get to share in. And I really, really encourage you to just take this time to really think about what it is that you need, what it is that you deeply want, and what it is that you believe that you are worth. I'm here for you.